Jenkins coming out of retirement tonight. Billy Lavender, who's already breaking a sweat. Got my man Brian Bolt with Shelter Insurance.
Who's not breaking a sweat.
Yep, no, he's not. He showed up late, walking, saying hi to everybody. The regular old Eric Aiken. We got Zach Doty down there.
I thought you were calling him Eric.
We got Zach Doty down there. Guys, let's start off our first segment tonight with Texas High so far this season. 6-0 makes for great TikToks on Friday, right?
Absolutely. Keep them going. But no, they've gotten injured a couple of games ago, starting to get some guys back. Looks like, ready to make a stretch run.
Perfect time for it. Like just the Pine Tree game, second year in a row shutting them out.
Second year in a row. I think it's 44-0 last year and maybe 38-0 this year. I mean, we'd like to play them every week.
I remember a guy, Frank and I know, that lived in Longview last year, and he told me that he would give me 21 points and he would take Pine Tree, and I said, okay, deal. But I will take that, sir.
Just a friendly wager, right?
Yeah, just betting Dr. Pepper and stuff like that. But man, off to another undefeated season, looking to finish district undefeated. Jacksonville in town tonight. Billy, what's Jacksonville in the season? Do you know?
I don't know what they are.
They're 1-6.
Yeah.
1-6.
Here's the thing is the last three are kind of the cellar dwellers right now, but those are the ones that'll sneak up and bite you better than the ones because you kind of get your guard down. And I've been at some practices and heard the coaches, and they're making sure that we don't have a letdown.
Well, Coach Stanford just a little while ago was telling me he's like they're a scary 1-6.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can beat you if they play good.
That's right.
You know.
And the telltale sign of a good football team is you want to see them progress as the season goes on. And we got about 3 games into the season, and they kind of got stagnant there. We still saw them making a lot of penalties, really not the offense ticking together. But over the last couple games, the last 3, we've really seen them turn it on, and I think they're progressing every game.
I think the offensive line play in particular has really changed from what we saw week 1, that Forney game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it could have gotten any worse after that game. It's gotten progressively better. The offensive line play, defensive line play, in my opinion, has been the huge difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing that hurt the Tigers in their first few games of the season was penalties. I mean, it seemed like offense, defense, special teams, it didn't matter, and they've cleaned that up. Not sure how many they had last week exactly, but, I mean, it was very few.
Well, I think in the last 3 games, the only people that are going to beat us are ourselves. So if we can go out and play a clean game or close to a clean game, then we'll be all right.
And I think last year we were a little spoiled with the explosive offense with Ryan Sellers. This year we don't quite have that, but we still have a good offense. They're effective when they need to be, and the defense is playing top-notch and putting the team on their back and carrying the team. You know
what's fun about it this year is last year you knew Ryan Sellers was going to be the man. You knew Clayton Smith was going to be the man. This year there's a different player of the game every week. Now you got guys like D. Brown that are going to come out and do their thing, but you got Robinson, you got some guys stepping up, getting a bunch of interceptions. You got Blake Rogers may have a huge game one night, and then Brandon Hall the next night. It just Cody Reese. They just kind of spread it out, and it makes a defense not just able to key on one person.
Exactly.
In the middle of that defense, those linebacker core have been outstanding. Javaris Tyson, Darren Finley, those guys. They're putting up double-digit tackles every single week. It's what you want to see from this core of the defense.
And sometimes the DBs get all the credit on the picks, but sometimes D-Fin will get a paw on it or something like that, or jaw or something like that.
A bunch of tip
interceptions. Michael Thomas has 2 tip drill interceptions on the year.
Yep.
And, Darren Finley stepping in for one of my favorite players, Jackson Halter, who graduated last year, and that was the big thing that I was waiting to see. Who can step in and fill those big shoes? And, I mean, Darren Finley, if he's not making the tackle on every play, he's right there and involved in some way.
Brayson with 900 total yards on the season, 9 touchdowns, 2 of them coming via rushing. I don't know if that's what I was expecting when the season started, to see him doing as much running as he is passing. He's completing 67% of his passes, just not throwing the ball as much.
Well, the thing is we're running the ball so well, and I didn't expect our offensive line to gel as quick as they have and keep going now. I knew that Coach Harrell, being the coach he is, would have them progressively getting better. I just didn't think that we'd be running it that well. But we got a 2-3 head running backs. You got all of them running well, but really Brayson. Here's the thing. He's not trying to be the player of the game. He's not trying to throw for 2,000. He's just taking what the defense gives him. And a lot of times they're trying to cover his guys, so he's taking off. And I'm telling you, he's gotten faster, he's gotten stronger, and he's finishing runs.
Yeah, he's looking super athletic, and they're giving him opportunities to run the ball more. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of him. I mean, he just doesn't bust out on you on a stat sheet like he did last year, but if you watch the games, I mean, he's even more athletic than I thought he was.
Yep.
In a way, he's adding his own wrinkle to the game because if you want to get in the box and try to stop Braylon, he can drop back in the pass, and if there's nothing there, he can pull it and pick up 20 yards real quick.
Oh, yeah. And, man, Braylon Stewart, you might as well stack the box. How many long touchdowns runs he had? He has a 91-yard one, right, Doug?
He has at least 2 or 3 90-plus yarders.
Yeah. It seems like every game he's going over 80 on a run.
I don't remember him being that fast. I don't
well,
know why.
you know, here's the thing is the second half of the year last year, after I think it was the 5th game, he was injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember him coming off the
and
field
eventually bad. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he's healthy. But you know, I remember in the Marshall game, him having a couple of long runs last year at Marshall, and then you know when he got hurt, you know, he was a different guy. But he's running mean.
Yeah, he got
He's running
885 rushing yards on the year,
and
13 touchdowns.
That was the big thing just with the rushing game last year in general was injuries with Braylon Stewart and Vontae Anderson. They both went down with injuries. Those big guys that can push through the holes, they were also fast, but you couldn't really see it that much because they went down with injuries, and they relied on Brayson to throw and make those plays to Zane and Trey and Ryan.
I'll tell you what I like is Trenton Kelly coming in right after, you know, when Braylon when they start and he runs hard. That guy, you know, Braylon, if you'll watch him at the first part of the games, and I'll watch him, is he'll tiptoe, he'll find the hole, and then he'll bust it or whatever. Trent runs right to it as fast as he can and through it, and it's really fun to watch him.
Yeah, I was excited for him to get his first touchdown.
Absolutely.
Blake Rogers with 3 receiving touchdowns so far this year, 216 yards. But we're in the kind of offense we don't have to throw it as much this year.
That's right. Brandon Hall, a sophomore that started the first half of the year, has been out a couple of games. I think he'll be back. I hadn't talked to Coach Stanford, but I think he'll be back this game. And that kid is electric. He's electric. And then if they've got TJ coming back this week, I mean that kid can flat out fly and he can catch too. So watch for him to start. You know, we're starting to get our key people back in the place, and if we can get a couple of guys healthy, we may make a stretch run.
I'm talking about key people. Derek Brown with 10 sacks already on the season. I mean, when's he going to run into somebody that's going to be able to contain him?
Here's the thing is you can't put 3 guys on him.
Yeah, you can put 2 on him.
Yeah, you put 2. You can't put 3, and that means you got Braxton White and a few people on the other side really playing hard. And I mean, it's just like you know, you couldn't run away from Clayton last year because D. Brown was over there. Yep. But man, they're playing. Here's the thing: is not only does D. Brown have all those sacks, but I don't know what his stats are on quarterback hits, but he's got a lot of them and a lot of hard ones. He's just almost a step off, and they release it a little bit late, and he kamalas them.
And that's a key thing. It's a lot of those younger players, like you said, stepping up to fill the position of Clayton leaving. Derek Brown seeing so much pressure, but the other guys are stepping up and making plays, and that's been a key to the season, especially on defense.
That's Braxton White and Ian Crite this year now.
Well, Ian Crite's been having a great
man.
Those guys stepping up and filling that spot of D. Brown, who's filled the spot of Clayton Smith.
Starting to see a lot of those.
I tell you who's turned into one of my favorite players, Brandon Childs.
Yeah.
For an interior lineman to be doing what he's doing.
The cool part about him is he's no flash. You go, yes, sir, no, sir, but that's about all you get out of him. He's not, I mean, he's just a workhorse. And, I mean, he's produced every game. Yeah. You look, and he's in on it. He may not get credit for it, but he's in on it.
Yeah. He just plays violent. And, I mean, I love it.
Yep. And we talked about the other side with Braxton White and Ian Crite. What a coaching move that was a game or 2 into the season with Braxton White being that other defensive end on the opposite side from Derek Brown, and then them making that switch, putting Ian Crite out there and saying, hey, go play. And I mean, the defensive line is just playing outstanding.
You know, we've talked about some injuries. What injuries can do is they can kill a season. You know, you get a few people hurt and you're, 1 or 2 games out of the playoffs, and then you're shot. What we've been able to do is get a lot of other people some live game reps, and you can't teach live game reps and get them in there. So if they do get inserted near the playoffs or do get inserted in the playoffs, they got some experience.
Yep. And in the coaching world, that that shows you how good of a coaching staff there is here at Texas High when you can take guys that don't get to play every day and you throw them in there and then they start showing out. They're getting the second team, the third team, all of the guys reps, and they're ready when it comes time to call their name.
And I'll tell you what, they look clean tonight. Boy.
And with those guys playing really well on the defensive front, that's what's creating all those turnovers on the back ends.
Yeah.
With Tyreek Robinson with those interceptions.
That's who I was about to bring up.
Man.
I said we've got about a minute left. I wanted to real quick touch on him. 6 interceptions. At one point, he was number 3 in the state in interceptions. That was last week. I don't know where he's at this week. But, Craig,
He used to do it.
You've watched other people
throw interceptions?
Yeah. I say Craig's watched other people get interceptions
from the field. No, the thing is he's been in the right place at the right time. AJ's got those DBs doing well, and Coach Spencer, and they're playing really well, and they're ball hawks and all that. I mean, you'll see tips and them go and get it, diving catches, but I'm telling you, all of them, especially Robinson, he's liable to take it to the house anytime he touches it.
I tell you who
I told him last week, I said, can you not get him to get you on the offensive side of the ball?
I tell you who you don't want to get hit by is Michael Thomas.
Whew.
And you wouldn't think it if he just
stepped
walked
up
by
this
you.
year.
Yeah.
He's
But
a
man,
silent assassin.
that one hit at Forney, oh my gosh. It was rough.
He had one last week at Pine Tree, too, just rocking people.
It looks good on Texarkana Game Day, I'll tell you that.
They always the other team doesn't like us posting them, but
Yeah, right.
it is what it is.
That's right.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll take a minute break, come back with area games.
Welcome to Texarkana Magazine.
where everyone is famous in their hometown.
Every month, we have the privilege of interviewing guests and sharing their inspiring stories with you.
You can find Texarkana Magazine at many locations around town. Look for us on the first of each month where we publish a new print issue and online every Tuesday.
We'd love to connect with you. Check us out online at txkmag.com and follow us on social media.
Stay famous, Texarkana.
Talia wanted more from life. She always wanted to work in the medical field, but she put her career plans on hold to raise a family. Now it's her time. She enrolled at Texarkana College to train for a high-paying career in a fast-growing industry. And thanks to financial aid, she isn't going into debt to do it. Start here at Texarkana College.
Weeks
It's been
with Fields of Faith.
been a busy 4 weeks, and thankful for everybody that participated as far as sponsorships and volunteers. And there's 2 people on this set that were sponsors. That includes Mr. Brian Bolt here that helped us out, as well as Texarkana Game Day. Really appreciate what you do, and had just over 4,000 in total attendance among all of them, and hundreds of lives that were impacted by that. So we're thankful.
Over 400, right?
There's a lot of winning that goes on these fields, but nothing like that for sure.
I'll go to anything, and Eric Aiken produced thing's going to be. I never forget the first time. I didn't know what to expect. And we go in there, and I'm just like, what's going on? Like, what is this? You know, I'd never been to anything like that before. Didn't know.
We started one in Atlanta this year, and to kind of relieve the one at Pleasant Grove, because it had really just outgrown the stadium. Had 750 in Atlanta for the first year, and there's a lot of room to grow. I had parents tell me, man, we didn't even know about it. I'm like, you live in Atlanta, Texas. How do you not know about it? You know? But we know that there's expansion and room for growth. They wanted Magnolia, our man's hometown there,
That's
and
right.
had a great turnout there as well. Had around 700, and I've got some new Bolt stories from down there, so we've got several things. So
we don't have enough time on this segment for all of that.
It's in cable.
Yeah, so I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys.
Now let's get into this area games. Liberty Ilo has number 2 Gilmer coming in town tonight. And the implications for this game are huge. Really, you can't say a district title's on the line, but they have to beat Gilmer to win this district.
District title is on the line, because if you beat Gilmer, and then next week gets even hotter across town, north of town, with PG and LE. So if Gilmer pulls it out tonight, and Pleasant Grove's got the test we'll talk about later, if LE pulls it out tonight, I'm telling you, it could be sellout, standing room only, Carthage PG type atmosphere next week.
It's going to be huge.
Listen, if you're watching this right now and you're not going to one of the area games, you're not planning on going, go support LE tonight. That's a huge game for them. Go fill that stadium, Harris Field, I think. Go fill that stadium and cheer for those guys. You know, they've turned that program around, Coach Davis, and, you know, I've got a bunch of friends over there, and, man, I'd like to see people go and support that tonight.
Yeah, you know, J.J. Hampton over there splitting time with Cal Jones at QB, 1,000 passing yards on the year while splitting time. This Gilmer offense, we know how explosive it is. And the defense, I'm not going to say is just as good as their offense, but they are elite, I would say.
Yeah, quarterback's dinged up for Gilmer, too, a little bit.
Yeah, so Tennyson kid.
Yeah, I think it may be a shoulder issue, so that could be a whole different ball of wax. And I'm telling you, the defense, we've talked about it several times with some friends, the defense at Liberty Islo is – I love it. I call him Coach Salsa.
They're going to need that defense tonight.
Yeah.
Well, Tennyson's, what, a 3-year starter?
Yeah, that's the thing, man. The team that runs the ball all the time, that Van team, I was at that game. I'm telling you, Liberty Ilo's front four, they look the part, they play the part, and in East Texas, they're tied now for turnovers. That defense is. Wow. Cal Jones had 6 interceptions.
Man.
They have 3 guys with 4, and it's just like, you can't pass on them.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And these are all coverage sacks. I mean, defensive line's getting to them early, great coverage, and Cal Jones just seems to come out of nowhere every time.
Well, I know we're not up here picking teams or anything, but I just want to say it where everybody can hear us. You heard it first on Texarkana Game Day. Huge matchup next week, but tonight, LE by 10.
Ooh, I'd love to see
tonight's game is a big game.
Not 90, by 10.
Tonight's game's a big game for Liberty Ilo's program. You know, they've been down the past couple of years. They're starting to get the team to turn around. If they can win tonight, it's going to be a big showdown next weekend.
I'm telling you, they should have beat Van.
Yeah.
I mean, it was their game to lose, and they just didn't finish it. We know how good Gilmer is. I'm telling you, I believe Liberty Ilo can play with them. The thing with Liberty Ilo is a lot of teams, when you play Gilmer or Carthage,
I worry about depth.
I don't know if you're necessarily trying to win as a coach as much as you are trying not to get embarrassed.
Yeah.
And that's the difference with Liberty Ilo. This year,
they're going out.
They're showing up to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it earlier, progressing as the season goes on. And I'm not ashamed to say, I slept on Liberty Ilo at the first of the year. I'm not ashamed to say it, but they have gotten better each game. And I think they're going to give them a run. I think I'm going to give them a run for their money tonight.
And Michael Riley anchoring that defense. He's having a great season. Greg London just got an offer today from Arkansas State. Sean White having a great – Tracy Rebels out here just – literally committing felonies, murdering people on the football field every week. Did y'all see that Cal Jones hit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, those Jones kids have helped that program out, and they play mean, play hard.
Hey, WT had one of the smoothest tackles I've ever seen in my life. He just, grabbed this kid, kind of threw him, and just slid and just popped up all in one motion. It was great.
Cal Jones is a player, man. The highlights that I see of him every week, and, we interviewed him before the season. I was like, I'm not really impressed. He's a great kid and everything, but I was like, no, this he's not for real. The dude's for real.
Yeah. Hey, and they got a kicker, and his name is Cal Jones.
Yeah.
He is their kicker as well, and Liberty Ilo usually doesn't have one.
I was fixing to say, for several years, I've been to one of their games a year, and they hadn't even kicked extra points. Yeah. I've heard that too. Yeah. So.
Well, Cal Jones and his brother play like his dad coaches.
Yeah.
Hard, tough, and disciplined.
Yep.
Does he toe
Details
kick it,
matter.
or does he soccer style?
Oh, he's soccer style.
Oh, come on! I want to see you put the
boot
on and toe kick it, man. I love it.
We'll give a shout out to Ahmad Hicks with 7 touchdowns on the year. Caden Cooper hadn't played every game. He's been injured. He's got a couple touchdowns, 256 receiving. And then the Price, number 12. I know y'all have seen him in the highlights.
Yep.
That dude, he plays football the way like we grew up playing, where you're just juking people constantly, not just a straight line runner. I love watching him play.
Is that how you grew up?
I was
playing?
getting juked.
Hey, pull up some highlights. Go ahead and ask him.
I heard you could play a little basketball. But
we hadn't seen any highlights, so I'm doubting that.
By the way,
I just want to let everybody know Craig can come anytime he wants, bring his basketball, play him
I knew we were going to get to this.
Anytime he wants.
Moving along.
There's going to be a camera on it.
I got $100 that says there's a video put out about it this weekend.
Oh, if he plays me, there's going to be a video.
Hey.
I'm going LE by 4. LE by 4.
I hope LE can win the way that
he's doubting.
No,
did you see that? He does not believe.
No, I'm just telling you. I hope they win.
I do too.
And I think their path to win is if they can keep Gilmer's Gilmer's offense off. But I don't know if if they're able to stay out there the whole game and shut them down. So they're going to have to score some points.
And y'all may not know this. We do want to send our condolences to Alex Harris. He lost his father-in-law yesterday and suddenly. And so he's the offensive coordinator at Liberty Yalo. And so to me, that offense is going to show up tonight. And if anything, they're going to play for Coach Harris. It's going to be a reason to rally. And in the locker room, you look for a reason to rally. You look for something like that. And not to in that situation. But I think they're going to rally around Coach Harris and going, Coach, we're going to get this win for you. It's also LaMichael James' birthday.
Yeah.
It's all just kind of working
itself. It's in the water.
Hey,
it's in the water.
If Ellie pulls off the win tonight, Texarkana will be on fire next week.
Oh my,
Do you hear me? It will be absolutely
It's going to be that anyway, regardless.
Why are you so excited about it?
I'm just saying.
I think it's going to take 3 turnovers. I think Liberty Yalo is going to have to get 3 turnovers. I think they're going to have to be +3 to win this, but they have the team to do it.
And it doesn't kill their season. It doesn't diminish their season if they do lose. You know, but boy, it would be a huge victory.
God.
I think they're going to have to contain Tennyson. We've all seen him. You know, I've seen him a couple times. Super impressed. You can keep him in the pocket. Don't allow him to get those third down conversions. I think they'll have a chance.
We'll see what happens. Let's move it along.
Morgan, what else we got?
Pleasant Grove. Spring Hill's coming to Pleasant Grove. My alma mater's coming.
Good game.
They took a tough loss last week to Liberty Yalo. You know, it's one of them, like they feel like they should have won. So I don't know how that affects you going into the next week. I mean, that big pick 6 right there at the end of the game just killed it.
Man, I tell you, PG didn't have much of a game last week, but didn't have anybody getting any injuries or anything like that. So they didn't really get a test. So you don't know how someone's going to go. Jarrett Halter's been playing good at quarterback, stepping in as a freshman, and they just they took some lumps at the first of the season, and they had they played a lot of really, really good teams, but you never know. LE used to do that. And LE would then turn around and make a run in the playoffs. So, who knows? Yeah,
we know they're going to the playoffs. The thing that when you look at stats on this, Jalen Boardley's their entire offense. If you look at, I would, now that I'm sitting here, I wish I'd have done the stats on it. But he's made up at least 50% of this offensive stats. Like you said, Jared Halter's not having a bad year. Probably showed up first game of the season thinking he's going to do a bunch of watching, maybe get some trash time. Yeah. And was he thrown to the Wolves quick?
Man.
How close is Johnson to returning?
I don't know.
I heard he was coming back this week or next week. That's what I heard.
Listen, I heard on the radio they were interviewing maybe the basketball coach or old basketball coach at PG, and he was talking about he had talked to him, and he wouldn't reveal what was going on, but it led me to believe that football may not be the rest of the year, but I don't know that. But it just from what I was hearing, it led me to believe that. But
that'd be a big loss, man. I saw that kid play 6 plays. I'm telling you, he's one of the best football players I've ever seen in 6 plays. Yeah. He was killing it.
And my thing is, you said they relied on Boardley a lot. I'm perfectly fine with that. Boardley is a stud player. If that's who you have to rely on, run him into the ground and play good defense. They've got a pretty good defense over there at Pleasant Grove as well.
Yeah, Vic Shaw anchoring that defense. Lance Jackson starting to get more plays on defense.
Benton at corner.
B.J. Rayfield is having a great year. Reese Elrod, same thing.
That kid's a stud.
Well, I don't want to take away from a win, but when you hear that fans sit in the stands last week and they say, that's state championship football, I got to argue with that. When North Lamar comes to town, they've got 20 kids on the roster. They're getting trounced by everybody. They're running the clock. I mean, literally, the band has a competition the next morning. They leave the field and go straight to load up. Before the band could even get fully loaded and they just crank the bus, the game is over. That's how much they ran the clock.
Golly.
I mean, so it was in 30 minutes, it was over.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say that to call that state championship football is tough. Pleasant Grove won. But North Lamar is that bad. Tonight is going to be a test for Pleasant Grove. Yeah. And because Spring Hill, they're scrappy. I mean, they're coached very well. They've got some decent athletes on the field. And Pleasant Grove's going to have to play because, LE turned it over a lot last week. But, a bounce-back game, you got a chance to beat. People still consider Pleasant Grove a state championship team, which they are.
Well, and here's the thing: is when you've been where Pleasant Grove's been, you're going to be everybody's state championship when they come to play you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like when Arkansas plays Texas.
Look,
And beats them.
I want to
Anyway.
go against my partner right here one time. Okay, I think that what he said is true, but tonight PG by 17.
Ooh.
I'm saying PG's going to win,
saying
but it's
not
going
so
to be a
fast.
Yeah, I'm saying.
what I thought we were about to hear.
Hey,
not
I
so
hope it's not
fast.
copyrighted, but not so fast.
Let's do this. Arkansas High is heading to Hot Springs. Hot Springs is what, 3-3?
Yeah, Hot Springs is not a bad football team.
Tell us what you know.
I mean, I
He doesn't know anything.
I've seen Hot Springs play this year, and I think Hot Springs comes away with the win tonight.
Here's my
I
prediction.
agree with that.
You give Barry Norton 2 weeks to prepare for somebody, and everybody's probably, because of their record, overlooking them. I think Arkansas High comes out and probably dominates tonight.
And it's not that they're real young. Okay, they're small, they're young. Arkansas High is, so it's not taking anything away from them.
Yeah.
But Hot Springs High is full of juniors and seniors. They're big, they're fast, they're strong. I think sometimes you just roll into town and the other team's just better, and I think that's what they're going to see tonight.
Let's do this. We got Coach Stanford waiting. Let's take a 1-minute commercial break. We'll be right back.
Providing excellent customer service while keeping everyone safe is a top priority here at State Bank. We are making your banking experience safer and easier with our new curbside banking program. Almost anything you need to do inside the branch can now be accomplished with curbside banking. Need to open an account, pick up a debit card, or hands-on help with mobile banking? Just pull into a designated curbside spot, call the number on the sign, and a State Bank team member will come assist you quickly. We are excited to bring you this convenience and are thankful to serve you. Your family, your bank, State Bank.
If you're thinking of building or remodeling, start your project with Red River Lumber and the Design Center. Our full-line lumber yards are stocked with the building materials you need for your project. The Design Center offers doors and windows, flooring, cabinetry, countertops, appliances, and more. And our team will help guide your project every step of the way. Take advantage of our custom kitchen design service. We'll help visualize your project with a 3D rendering of how your new space will look. Red River Lumber and the Design Center is proud to be a Day One sponsor of Texarkana Gameday.
And we are back. We added head coach Jerry Stanford with us, man. How's things going?
Not bad. Can't complain. Beautiful weather. Great Friday night.
Undefeated and hits us. Well, not so bad.
Better than the alternative.
That's right.
Well, this is true. This is true. Coach, offense averaging 34 points per game. You happy with it?
You know, so far, I think so. I think we're getting better, kind of finding out who we are, kind of what we can do. Expanded a couple of things in the offense the last couple of weeks that have taken some pressure off other areas of the offense. And so it's like I told the kids today, I still don't think we've played our best football. I still think there's a lot of growth where we can continue to improve with some young guys and some new guys that'll play tonight.
You hadn't played. You're talking about expanding. I think the expansion happened last week with McHenry having 140-plus yards on the ground. That's a pretty big expansion.
He just put that in last week.
Yeah.
We actually did. And so I say that. What do you think? Yeah, I guess it was. It's been in, but we haven't repped it for a game purpose. A lot of the stuff we get, and some of it dictated by what Pine Tree was doing, allowed us to do it as we got in about the second quarter of the game. But that obviously takes pressure off the O-line, takes pressure off of what Braylon can do and our other running backs, and so that helps.
Coach, do you constantly have something like that you put a couple of new wrinkles per week, or do you try to hold on to some things for a playoff run? You know, what's your going into game plan?
So we have the nucleus of what we do. We get in fall camp. There are certain things, certain weeks we rep, certain things we don't rep, but things that we've always got there. And we kind of have the gold ball rule with the quarterback, where if we feel like we've got to win a gold ball, he's going to run. If we don't, then he's probably not going to run near as much. And so last week we were trying to really focus on taking a 2-game lead on everybody in district and felt like if he can run the ball a little bit, we didn't think it was going to be 140 yards worth, but we thought like if we could get 50 to 80 out of him, that's going to really take a lot of pressure off and open up Braylon for more opportunities to run the ball and our passing game.
Speaking of Braylon, averaging 7.5 yards a carry. He's got a long one, 91 yards. I remember telling Billy, I don't remember him being that fast last year.
He's gotten faster. He's lost a little bit of weight, toned his body up a little bit, in a better shape, and he stayed healthy to this point, knock on wood, too. This time last year, he never got healthy after this game, or last week's game.
We got to flip it to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, your defense, in my opinion, I don't know stats, but it's probably the best in the state of Texas. Of course, your two defensive coordinators do a great job for you, and I love to watch. I love to be around coaching staffs and watch them being a unit, a family, and you do a great job of doing that, and I've seen a lot of them that don't. But talk about that defense a little bit. I know Derek Brown is the big one, but I've watched him come upfield and force things back inside. And Childs, I saw you challenge him 2 weeks ago after the Hallsville game, maybe 3 weeks ago, really challenge him to step up, and, man, the last 2 games he's been lights out.
We played a lot of different guys on defense this year. Still kind of piecing some of the parts together, but Brandon Childs and Ian Cried have been 2 guys that have really stepped up. We've been without KT Thomas, one of our senior leaders, up until tonight. He'll be back.
Awesome.
And so we've had a lot of guys who Kavonte Featherson started playing some last week. Another part and another person we can put out there that we really hope can just make us a violent, physical defense that can run to the ball, and I think that's what we're doing best. You give up 70 yards of offense and 4 first downs into an offense that doesn't cross midfield the whole game. That's not a bad night. And so, the week before we create 6 turnovers, one of them for a touchdown. It's good to play offense behind those types of defenses. And so I think if we can just continue to grow and mature as a defense, we've had pretty good practices defensively all week. It gives us a chance to be a good football team.
What's been the switch with Brandon Childs? We're noticing him. It's very difficult with the way we film for us to notice interior linemen. And he's just popping out every week on camera.
A lot of it, I think, is just maturity and confidence. He's still a young kid, a junior who's first year on varsity right here. You've kind of got to take your lumps early on and from the older guys and just getting involved on a Friday night. And I think he's learned that he can play at this level, that he's got a real chance to be a college football player in the future. And so he's starting to see kind of the light come on here and doing a great job.
Yeah. And you got to talk about your defensive backfield. I mean, you got your man that's got, 6?
Some ball hawks, something like that.
No fly zone,
In total, I think we're at 16 for the year. And just obviously there's a lot that has to do with the pass rush and guys putting pressure on the quarterback. And then they're having some awareness back there of where the ball is. And so we like those ideas.
Yeah. And tonight, there's a lot of talent on the field. I keep telling people, they keep asking me about Jacksonville. I'm like, don't be deceived by their record. If we're not careful, it could be a trap game. They've got the McEwen kid. Of course, they got the McCown kid at quarterback, McEwen at receiver. Yeah. And just talk a little bit about what you expect out of them tonight.
I think they're a scary bad record, as what we kind of discussed, because offensively they're going to put it in the air so many times. You're going to, and it comes out pretty quick. So a lot of times the pass rush isn't real effective because of how fast the ball is coming out. And so I'll tell you here's who's got to play really, really well for us is our inside and outside backers. They're gonna try to throw in those windows a lot. That's where they try to work at, and we've got to do a good job in those areas.
Yep.
I'm sorry, guys. Everybody looking at me?
You run the show.
Well, I mean, I thought Billy was going to come across the top.
Somebody call a play. Timeout.
Yeah. No, I was going to kind of ask, what do you see, or what do you tell your team when you come down the stretch and you have teams coming in who are a sub-500 team? Do you get them ready for that, or do you just coach normal?
You try to get them ready and try to get them to focus on us. I mean, we don't want to be Alabama playing A&M. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And so that's something they can resonate with. But at the same time, it's on us. We've got to play well. It's about us. And it's going to be that way the rest of this year. We had that conversation in our team meeting today. We can play 3 weeks or 9 weeks. Y'all pick. And it's on our shoulders right now that we can play as long as y'all want to play, as long as y'all are willing to get out there and work at it and play hard. And we're going to get a chance to keep playing football.
So. I was in the multipurpose earlier this week, and I saw Coach Hawkins, and I asked him, what does Jacksonville look like? I said, they're only 1-6, and he said, that doesn't matter. We've still got to go out and play. And I can guarantee if Coach Hawk knows that they have to go out and play, he's probably relayed it to the players as well.
Yeah, it's 15 to 18-year-old kids. Who knows what they're thinking?
Well, I wasn't in the multi-purpose, but I was on Facebook on Eric Aiken and Billy Lavender's page, and they think they can beat Alabama since they beat A&M.
Well,
I don't know about
That's what
that.
they said.
Wait a minute.
That's what these Arkansas fans are saying.
Well, hey, Coach Stanford's, they don't even have a coach down at LSU right now. So.
Hey, let's get a game day going down there, Coach.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
So all I know is if if you're talking about A&M and Alabama, I do know A&M had a priest come out and bless the field. I'm just curious, did you have that before tonight's game?
Man, no.
I was here a little early for you, Coach.
Thank they. Poured some of that brown.
Where are they at on this statue for Craig?
Mine? Yeah, they're pretty close. They just got to find somebody that has enough concrete. It's not going to be a small statue.
Somebody in my ear just said, Brother Smootty.
Coach Stanford, switching gears a little bit, just the girls volleyball team, man, having a great season this year. And I know that basketball is coming up. I've talked to Coach Skinner. We're going to have him on next week. Got a big tournament coming to town. So talk a little bit about volleyball and then the Red River. What are they calling
Red River tip-off. So we've got, obviously, volleyball plays for the district championship on Tuesday versus Marshall in a big game.
Show up at home.
Yep, Billy will be there.
Absolutely.
And so golf's done really well, playing really well in the fall, winning several tournaments. Cross country just qualified for regionals. Several kids there. Tennis just got finished out in the regional finals, losing on Thursday. We had a great team tennis season with a really young team. Red River Shootout, we're going to bring in the best teams from across the country and all of Texas to come in and play in a basketball tournament in early December right there. And so a lot of good things happening. It's a good time to be a Tiger right now with all the positive things that kids are doing. And inevitably it's about kids, and they're doing a lot of really good things and going to a lot of really good places to get them done later on in life.
Well, Coach, you've been here 5 years, and the difference that you've made in the program is very, I mean, it's very obvious. I mean, I know you got the turf on the field, you got some things redone facility-wise, and if you haven't been in the multipurpose building, to me it's one of the best-looking buildings with all the graphics and everything on the walls, including the players' lounge that you created. And I know there were some people frowning about that, but, man, that's been a positive. And so you've done a great job. Really appreciate what you do for our community.
I really don't understand why anybody would frown about something like that.
I think if you keep what's important, and that's kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the main thing is the main thing.
And I'll tell you that when it comes to facilities, he's exactly right. And when it comes to facilities, you get some of these kids that go to Division II schools or even some Division I schools, and they don't have this nice facilities.
Yeah.
And we have, we do a powerlifting meet in January at the facility. And these small schools come in, and these coaches are drooling just in the weight room. They didn't even go in the meeting rooms yet.
Yeah, we say it all the time, though. The moment the focus becomes on adults, we're not doing education anymore. We're trying to problem solve.
That's right.
And so the main thing is the main thing, and that's kids. And as long as we keep the focus on, we're here to give kids the best opportunities that high school athletics and education can provide in TISD. That's the goal. I mean, it should be for any school.
Yeah.
In my mind, our job at TISD is to provide every nth degree of opportunity for kids. So everything that we do has nothing to do with adults. I mean, sorry, but that's not the business we're in.
Yeah.
We're in the business to see kids succeed and be fruitful at whatever they go off and do. And so I think there's some big things coming. Obviously, we created a bass fishing team a couple weeks ago. We'll do trap fishing. We've done the esports. We've got a real avenue right now to create our own barber school within our high school, which is things kids want to get involved in, that we can all
Sorry, Craig.
gift things. You're out of luck. You can come teach. Be the model. And so anyway, I think if we just keep the main thing, and the main thing is kids, and that's the goal.
Well, Coach, you're undefeated, or TISD's undefeated, 7th grade all the way up through varsity?
Almost. There's 2 blemishes in there.
Undefeated just sounded better. You should have just let it ride.
It did. It's close.
You got to be careful. Morgan likes to make up stats.
Yep.
I'm always going to make them good stats, though, unlike Craig.
We're close.
So how many yards did I throw for my senior year?
150.
I was probably a couple more than that.
Okay. I was guessing. It's a round number.
I just thought he was going to throw out some good stats for me.
They're finishing warm-ups, Coach. You need to
I
get
got
there.
senior night here going.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Go get